מחזיק לפניי מסמך של האו"ם, New World Order, UN Agenda. אני אומר לכם ישר את התרגום. סדר עולמי חדש של האו"ם בין השנים 2021 עד 2030. לא תאמינו מה שתשמעו. תתכוננו. קחו אוויר, תנשמו, ואל תתייאשו, כי יש אלוהים למעלה. דבר ראשון, בין השנים האלה תהיה ממשלה עולמית אחת, מטבע עולמי חסר מזומנים, בנק מרכזי עולמי, צבא עולמי אחד, סוף הריבונות הלאומית, סוף כל הריבונות הלאומית, סוף כל הרכוש בבעלות פרטית, סוף התא המשפחתי, סילוק אוכלוסין, שליטה בגידול האוכלוסייה וצפיפות האוכלוסייה, חובה מרובה בחיסונים, הכנסה בסיסית אוניברסלית, הכוונה משכורת צנע, השתלת מיקרוצ'יפ לרכישה, נסיעות, מעקב ובקרה, יישום מערכת אשראי חברתית עולמית כמו שיש לסין, טריליוני מועמדים המחוברים למערכת הניטור G5, הממשלה תגדל את הילדים, בתי ספר ואוניברסיטאות בבעלות ממשלתית, סוף התחבורה הפרטית, בעלות על המכוניות, כל העסקים יהיו בבעלות הממשלה, התאגיד, הגבלה על מה שלא חיוני בטיסות, בני אדם ירוכזו באזורי התיישבות אנושית, ערים, סוף ההשקיה, סיום המשק הפרטי החי והמרעה, סוף הבתים המשפחתיים, שימוש מוגבל בקרקע המשרתת צרכים אנושיים, איסור של תרופות טבעיות שאינן סינתטיות ורפואה נוטורופטית, בסוף דלק מאובנים. עד כאן המסמך. מי שמבין, אנחנו נתגעגע לפרעה.
In the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century, what humanity basically learned to produce was all kinds of stuff, like textiles and shoes and weapons and vehicles. And this was enough for very few countries that underwent the revolution fast enough to subjugate everybody else. What we're talking about now is like a second industrial revolution, but the product this time will not be textiles or machines or vehicles or even weapons. The product this time will be humans themselves. We are basically learning to produce bodies and minds. Bodies and minds are going to be, I think, the two main products of the next wave of all these changes. And if there is a gap between those that know to produce bodies and minds and those that do not, then this is far greater than anything we saw before in history. And this time, if you're not part of the revolution fast enough, then you probably become extinct. Once you know how to produce bodies and brains and minds, so cheap labor in Africa or South Asia or wherever, it simply counts for nothing. Again, I think that the biggest question maybe in economics and politics of the coming decades will be what to do with all these useless people. I don't think we have an economic model for that. My best guess, which is just a guess, is that food will not be a problem. With that kind of technology, you will be able to produce food to feed everybody. The problem is more boredom and what to do with them, and how will they find some sense of meaning in life when they are basically meaningless, worthless. My best guess at present is a combination of drugs and computer games.
And now fast forward to the early 21st century, when we just don't need the vast majority of the population.
Because
the future is about developing more and more sophisticated technology, like, again, artificial intelligence, bioengineering. Most people don't contribute anything to that, except perhaps for their data. And whatever people are still doing, which is useful, these technologies increasingly will make redundant and will make it possible to replace the people.
Think about when you met Rockefeller, how it happened in these discussions.
I met Rockefeller through a female attorney I knew who called me up one day and said, one of the Rockefellers would like to meet you. I made a video called Mad as Hell, and he'd seen the video and wanted to meet me and knew I was running for governor of Nevada. So sure, I'd love to meet him. And I met him and I liked him, and he was a very, very smart man. And we used to talk and share ideas and thoughts. And he's the one who told me 11 months before 9/11 ever happened that there was going to be an event. Never told me what the event was going to be, but there was going to be an event, and out of that event, we were going to invade Afghanistan to run pipelines from the Caspian Sea. We were going to invade Iraq, to take over the oil fields, establish a base in the Middle East, and make it all part of the New World Order. And we'd go after Chavez in Venezuela. And sure enough, later 9/11 happened, and I remember he was telling me how you're gonna see soldiers looking in caves for people in Afghanistan and Pakistan and all these places, and there's gonna be this war on terror, of which there's no real enemy, and the whole thing is a giant hoax, but it's a way for the government to take over the American people.
He told you it was going to be a hoax.
Oh yeah, there's no question. He says there's gonna be war on terror, and he's laughing. Who are we fighting? I mean, why do you think 9/11 happened and then nothing's happened since then? Do you think that our security is so great here that these people who pulled off 9/11 were able to can't knock down another plane? Come on, it's ridiculous. 9/11 was done by people in our own government and our own banking system to perpetuate the fear of the American people into subordinating themselves to anything the government wants them to do. That's what it's about, and to create this war, this endless war on terror. And that's why and that was the first lie. And the next lie was going into Iraq, to get Saddam Hussein out with his weapons of mass destruction. That was the next lie.
Now, specifically, this was a little over 6 years ago.
This was
11 months before 9/11.
Yeah.
And Nick Rockefeller, who's a lawyer, he's become your friend over the previous years, and he's saying to you that there's going to be this big event, and then out of that we're going to have a war on terror, and it's just going to go on and on.
Right, an endless war on terror without any real enemy. That you can never define a winner.
And did he say that it's going to be perfect because you can't define an enemy? It just goes on and on?
Because you can't define a winner. There's no one who's on to beat, so it goes on and on forever. And they can do whatever they want. They scare the hell out of the American public. Look, this whole war on terror is a fraud. It's a farce. It's very difficult to say it out loud because people are intimidated against saying it. Because if you say it, they want to make you into a nutcase.
But
the truth has to come out. That's why I'm doing this interview. The fact of the matter happens to be that the whole war on terror is a fraud, it's a farce. Yeah, there's a war going on in Iraq because we invaded Iraq. And people over there fighting, you know. But the war on terror, that's a joke, you know. And until we discover what really happened on 9/11 and who was responsible for 9/11, because that's where the war on terror emanates from. That's where it comes from. It was 9/11 that allowed this war on terror to begin. And until we get to the bottom root of 9/11, the truth of 9/11, we'll never know about the war on terror.
Aaron, you said that he was, and I think it's important, and I know this about the Rockefellers, Dr. Dennis Cuddy, and many others who literally, you'll be 20 years old on a lunch line in college, and it was David Rockefeller. And he hears here, I mean, they're experts at recruiting and getting what they call players, and that clearly he was, I mean, I want to make it specific and just get you to reiterate what you said last night about you got 30% of the vote, you were having an effect, you made mad as hell, they knew that you'd started the Constitution Party, they knew that you were somebody who was taking action and getting things done, you'd already made some big films, had a lot of other successes,
right.
So they were trying to recruit you, and didn't it come down to the point of, hey, we are here to recruit you, and don't worry, your chip's going to say, don't mess with us, you know, this guy's don't touch.
Yeah, yes, that did happen. I was definitely being recruited, but it's more subtle than that.
Well, in your words, just go through the process and then what you said.
Well, what it is remember, we were friends, and we used to go to my house a lot, we'd have dinner, we'd talk, and he'd tell me about business investments, how you get involved in, you know, or they would help me with this business investment or that business investment. And was I interested in joining the Council on Foreign Relations? You know, I would have to get a letter to join them, but was I interested in that? And, you know, just stuff, you know, leading you on. And I used to say to him that I never really did that because that wasn't where I was coming from. As much as I like you, Nick, you know, your ways and my ways, we're on the opposite side of the fence. You know, I don't believe in enslaving people.
At an inflection point, I believe, in the world economy. Not just the world economy, in the world. It occurs every 3 or 4 generations. As one of the top military people said to me in a secure meeting the other day, 60 million people died between 1900 and 1946. And
this is a world pandemic. It's a 1 in 100-year event. So you can expect that we will have transmission from time to time, and that's just the way it is. We've got to accept that this is the new world order. We've got to accept that this is the new world order. This is the new world order. This is the new world.
So people assume we are just going back to the good old world which we had, and everything will be normal again in how we are used to normal, in the old fashion. This is, let's say, fiction. It will not.
It is a big idea, a new world order. We can find meaning and reward by serving some higher purpose than ourselves. A shining purpose, the illumination of 1,000 points of light.
It's no longer a theory. What I'm about to say is fact. The secret organizations of the world power elite are no longer secret. They have planned and are now leading us into a one-world communist government. This is terrorism of the most worst kind, brought on you by our own government.
To lead in shaping a new world order.
Aziz vatandaşlarım, tüm dünya ile birlikte salgın boyunca ağır bedeller ödedik. Yeni bir dünya düzenine sert ve hazırlıksız bir geçiş dönemi yaşadık.
Karmaşık bir endişe bataklığında çırpındığı şu dönemde biz insanlık için sayısız imkanlar bahşeden bir hafıza denizinde yol alıyoruz. insanlığın ihtiyacı olduğu tüm fikirlerin ve değerlerin bizim hafıza hazinemizde var olduğuna inanıyoruz. Teknolojinin insansız bir dünyaya doğru evrilmeye çalışıldığı tarihi yol ayrımında biz insanın fıtri güzellikleri üzerinden yeni bir dünya düzeni kurulmasına öncülük etmenin sorumluluğuna talibiz. İnşallah bunu da başaracağız.
Değerli basın mensupları, şu anda ekranları başında bizi izleyen tüm Moritanyalı kardeşlerime şu ifadelerimi seçerek özellikle kullanıyorum. Biz yeni bir dünya düzeni kurulurken Afrika ile birlikte yürümek istiyoruz.